Welcome back here to Atlanta, the site of the 2018 SEC Media Days. On Wednesday, we caught up with the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Head coach Joe Moorhead experiencing the Media Days madness for the first time as the head man of the Bulldogs. And a lot of expectations for Joe Moorhead in his first year in Starkville. And a lot of those expectations will become reality thanks to the defensive line. Jeffrey Simmons is back for his junior season, but one of the bigger news, Montez Sweat foregoing the NFL draft to return to Starkville. So now you have two of the most productive defensive linemen back for another year in Starkville. Add that with Gary Green. Now plug Chauncey Rivers into that mix, and the Bulldogs' defensive line appears to be bigger and badder than it was last year. Joe Moorhead has a special nickname for guys up front like Simmons, Sweat, and Rivers.
A term that you use when you're scouting other teams, as you refer to them as game wreckers, that guys can single-handedly take a game over, and you kind of highlight those guys when you're at the beginning of the week and talking about it. And I think, you know, Jeffrey and Montez and a couple other guys on our defensive line have the capability to single-handedly wreck a game for the opposition.
In my opinion, it has to be one of the best, if not the best, defensive line groups, and not even in the conference, but probably in the country. It's extremely hard to get passes off in practice with those guys coming at you. And spring, it was tough watching them. We couldn't really get much going, and that was without Jeffrey Simmons really going in team reps. So add him into the mix, and I don't really see many people being able to have a lot of time to pass the ball.
Having those guys around, just the depth, it's amazing. Just all over the D-line is great to have. And just the competition is a competition every day. Exactly what it is. It's practice, weight room, running. Like, we compete with each other day in, day out. Practice-wise, who can get the most sacks or, tackles for loss at practice. Running, who's the fastest D lineman. Like, we compete with each other, and I think it's just a healthy competition.
Joining the Bulldogs on Wednesday here in Atlanta, the reigning national champion Alabama Crimson Tide. Head coach Nick Saban, of course, was flooded with questions. Who is going to be the starter in week 1 for the Crimson Tide? Nick Saban, while he didn't commit to whether it was going to be Tua or Jalen Hurts, the head coach says it's better to have options.
It's yet to be determined. It's going to be determined in fall camp by who wins the team, and there's not really a whole lot else to say about it. So both guys have shown an ability to play very successfully, and I can say that we'd much rather have 2 guys than none. So that's the answer to that question.